2012, and it is approximately 10:05. With me today is Councilman Morones and Councilman John and myself, Sherry Castillo. Under new business, the first item is to canvass election returns of the November 6, 2012 general election in accordance with Texas Election Code and 6.004. And we have Sherry Pollock to provide the information for us.
If I may, Madam President, Officer, members of the council, do a little. You got me beat, whoever that is. Just by way of explanation, what we're going to do this morning, there's two council meetings called. One's at 10 o'clock right now. And after this council meeting, we'll formally canvass the vote and declare the canvass. After this happens, then there'll be somewhat more informally the swearing-in ceremonies for each of the candidates who ran, got elected. And then at 10:45, we'll have a formal council meeting to take care of a few items on that agenda. And so procedurally, what we're going to do at this point is have Sherry Pollock, who's the city secretary, come and report on the results of the election. Okay? So, Ms. Castillo, if you'll step up, but you're going to do it to the mic there for everyone to make sure. We'll proceed with the items 1 and 2.
Thank you. Sherry. This envelope contains the eighth and the final return on the election that was held on November 6, 2012. And I've got my return sheet here. It was a general election held by the city of Floresville, and there were 4 items on the ballot. And our first item on the ballot was for mayor. We had 4 candidates that ran for mayor on the ballot. First candidate on the ballot was Diana Garza with a number of votes of 853. Johnny Renee Gomez with votes of 406. Christina Jazumba with votes of 176. Thomas Robles with votes of 147. Second item on the ballot was for council member place 1, Jim Miller, 951 votes. Jesse Christopher Flores, 599 votes. Third item on the agenda was for council member place number 2, Mario Morones, 1,219 votes. The last was a proposition, which was the quarter-cent sales tax, for 824 votes, against 533 votes. This completes the return sheet for the election held on November 6th.
Will you please take that to each of the officers there and let them inspect the sheet that you have tabulating it, and if anybody wants to look at it, the calculations supporting it, just so that they had enough to look at it. I think this is a formality, but I want each of them to see how you as the city secretary went about the process.
And that does complete the return sheet for the Floresville City election that was held on November 6, 2012.
And Madam Presiding Officer, Steele, when you ask the other council members, and more importantly, the city secretary, if you have any questions about what she did or how she did it, or the results, so that you can then formally take action on it.
Thank you. And do I get to vote since we don't have the 3, 4? I get to vote.
You can vote on the matter, and the memo that you have before you indicate, we weren't for sure we'd have any more than 2 here, but 2 or more can vote to accept the tabulation.
Thank you.
So the answer is This is your time to ask her a hard question.
So I can refer it to you. Right? Okay, no questions asked, and we'll move on to call for a motion.
Okay, I move to accept the canvassing and election returns of November 6, 2012 general election in accordance with Texas Election Code 67.004.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Guerrero and a second by Councilman Morales. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
And the record is that all three are.
All three are in favor.
This is a resolution of the City of Floresville, the City Council of the City of Floresville, Texas, declaring the results of the November 6, 2012 regular municipal election held in the City of Floresville, Wilson County, Texas, finding and determining that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed to the open public and conducted in a manner required by law. All of them are now complete. It's been signed by Councilwoman Castillo, Councilman Guerrero, and attested by myself, the city secretary.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, are you satisfied? I'll take it now.
Let's go through the motion. Yeah, just make the motion on it, if you will, and read the information on the sheet.
This is a separate item, so you read it, but go ahead and make sure that's clear.
The Proposition 1 was the reauthorization of the local sales and use tax in the city of Floresville at a rate of 1/4 of 1% to continue providing revenue for maintenance and repair of municipal streets. The vote on that was 824 that were for the proposition, 533 against, and the total number of votes that passed was 291, it passed by 291.
And the document that you just had executed.
Yes, it does.
Okay, and just for everybody's understanding, this referendum on the road tax requires reauthorization every year. This was your fourth year. So that's why it was on the ballot to be reauthorized. And you have so authorized.
You go through the motion, please, since it's on the agenda.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution certifying the canvass of the election results of the November 6, 2012 general election,
Including the road referendum.
including the road referendum.
And that's what Mr. Johnson wants to make sure that that's part of that resolution. In the resolution, that's just clarifying the road resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
All agree? We all agree.
The record reflects it all voted in favor. And I believe it's appropriate to sign to turn this particular notice.
Our meeting is now adjourned at 10:15 until the next meeting at 10:45. Thank you.
Hi, Susie. Good to see you. Hi, Arthur.
Ladies and gentlemen, just for your information, at 10:30 will be the official swearing in. I think each candidate has, or elected official.
And we repeat the ever-new words of the ancient prayer in sacred writ. And I'm going to raise my hand and say, may the Lord bless thee and keep thee. Pay the Lord cause, his countenance shall shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance unto thee and grant thee peace. Let us all join in saying amen and blessing these new officers and those continuing in office. In his name we pray. Amen. Now we'll proceed with the swearing in of the candidates. And I think we have a sequence here, don't we?
I think we're gonna allow the mayor to get sworn in.
Okay.
I, Diane Garza, do solemnly swear
I, Diana Garza, solemnly swear
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
offered, promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contribute, or promised
or promised
to contribute
to contribute
any money
any money
or thing of value,
or thing of value,
or promised
or promised
any public office
public office
or employment
or employment
for given
for given
with or withholding
or withholding
a vote
a vote
at the election
at the election
at which I
at which I
was elected,
was elected,
or as a reward to
or as a
secure
reward to secure
my appointment
my appointment
or confirmation.
or confirmation.
Whichever the case may be,
Whichever the case may be,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Diane Garza,
I, Diana Garza,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the
execute
duties of office
the duties of office
of the City of Floresville,
of the City
Mayor
of Floresville, Mayor
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will do the best
and will do the best
of my ability
of my ability
to
to
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
That was loud.
In one's lifetime, there are many important days that you will always remember. This is one of those days for me. It is a great honor having been elected as the first female mayor. I want to publicly thank my husband Casey, my children Trina, Pamela, their husbands Richard and Ruben, my son Jason, my grandchildren that are here in Villanueva, Isabella, Carolina, RJ, and baby Austin, and to my extended family for the lifetime of support. Special thanks to all of you for being here, my friends from Laredo for traveling to be here today with us. I look forward to the challenges ahead, and once again, we'd like to sincerely thank you all for giving me this honor. I promise to work with the councilmen, staff, and you to assure that we will provide effective representation and dynamic leadership for the betterment of our community. Thank you.
Well, this is your day, but I'd just like to say before we start that I'm very honored to be asked to swear in Jim today, and I want to congratulate all of the officials that serve and that are newly elected officials. We appreciate the service from all of you. You ready? I, Jim Miller.
I, Jim Miller,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
offered,
offered,
promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contributed, or promised to contribute
or promised to contribute
any money or thing
any money or thing
of value,
of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment for the giving
or employment for the giving
or withholding
or withholding
of a vote at the election
of a vote at the election,
at which I was elected,
at which I was elected,
or as a reward to secure
or as a reward to secure
my appointment or confirmation,
my appointment or confirmation,
whichever case may be.
whichever case may be.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Under penalty and perjury, I declare that I have read the foregoing statement and that the facts stated therein are true.
I do.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
In the name and the authority of the state of Texas,
I, Jim Miller,
I, Jim Miller,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Floresville City Council, place number 1,
Floresville City Council, place number 1
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God. Now, unlike our mayor, I didn't prepare a speech. As early as this morning, I didn't expect this to come to fruition. I'm very proud to serve this community, and as an example of serving the community, I asked Judge Quinney to come here, because I believe our community and what we do in these council chambers not only affects the city of Floresville, it affects the entire county. There are way too many people to thank throughout the room. I would be neglected if I did not thank my wife for all of her support, and I don't know where she's sitting right now. Back in the morning. And I'm not going to begin to start posting names or thanking people individually, because I'm sure I would forget somebody, and I don't want to make that mistake. But I will accomplish the promises I made to the voters of this city, and here in a few minutes you'll see the first two of those being accomplished. Thank you again.
of the office of
Floresville City Council President
Floresville City Council President
of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
I'm not going to mention names, but I do want to thank my wife, my family, my friends, and all the supporters, because it takes y'all, and I have to listen to all the supporters, and my open door is still to y'all. Anybody who wants to call me, call City Hall, get my number. Whenever I'm out of line, pull me to the side and say, hey, Mario, I think you're getting missing up or something. But I'm glad for the new mayor that we're here, is here, Jim Miller, Ms. Castillo, Johnny Guerrero, and everybody. Now, I mean, I think we can work together, and I'm not saying anything, I don't want to talk bad, I said I'm not going to talk because I don't like to talk too much, right? But anyway, I want to thank all of y'all, and all my family, and all of the voters, and we're here to serve you. Thank you. Just don't go crazy with it.
Good morning. It is 10 minutes till 11, November the 17th. I want to thank everyone for being here. I'd like to call this meeting to order, starting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all stand.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can ask everyone to stay standing, we're going to also say a pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to call the special meeting to order. We have a quorum, we have Councilman Morales, Councilman Guerrero, Councilman Castillo, and Councilman Smith. First, we're going to go into new business. That's going to be considered and take action to appoint a council member as mayor pro tem. If I have a motion.
Make a motion to appoint Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Johnny Guerrero. Make a motion.
I'd like to second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Because if it's not working. I'll slide over to it was 3. 301.
301.
301. Okay. Motion passes. Okay, now we're going to consideration and action on item 1B, which is to ratify a resolution of previous city council certifying the canvass of the election results of November the 6th, 2012 general election.
That resolution, or the same thing?
It's the same resolution, it's already been signed, it's just a ratification that this council is accepting it as well.
I move that we ratify a resolution of the previous council ratifying the canvass of the election results of the November 6th, 2012 general election. Do I have a second?
I second.
Motion made by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Morones. And that was a... All in favor? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
4. Motion carries. 4 of, sorry, correction. Okay. Consideration and item C, consideration and action to adopt ordinance implementing municipal sales and use tax of 1/4 of 1% for street maintenance.
Again, this is just
I actually have a resolution on this one that was signed by the mayor. And it's a resolution in support of the adoption of a local sales and use tax for the city of Floresville at the rate of 1/4 of 1% to provide revenue for maintenance and street repair. Whereas the date of such election was held on the 6th day of November 2012 in accordance with election and law. And whereas the proposition reads as follows: the adoption of a local sales and use tax in Floresville at the rate of 1/4 of 1% to provide revenue for maintenance and repair of street maintenance. And whereas the total number of votes were cast for 824, against 533, and whereas the proposition passed by 291 votes, therefore be it resolved that by the City Council of the City of Floresville, The city of Floresville has complied with the requirements of the BTCA tax code 321.405 and has hereby adopted the street maintenance sales tax to be effective for 2012, passed and approved on the 17th day of November 2012.
The agenda says ordinance.
That's correct, it does, and we're using the terms interchangeably. This happens to be a form that the controller's office likes. And rather than changing it whatsoever, we're using it verbatim. And that has to be there, so they'll crank it in come January 1st. I anticipated the question, we're using it in the same context.
So the motion can to adopt the ordinance or the resolution?
Resolution. We're going to use the term synonymously, so we can substitute, the public had notice on what we were going to do, so we're using one interchangeably with the other.
I would move to adopt the resolution implementing the municipal sales and use tax of 0.25% for street maintenance.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, now, we're going to go on to item D, and that's consideration and action to adopt a council directive mandating that all city council meetings begin with the United States Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, I have a question.
Well,
This is not a substitute for the prayer, the opening prayer, is that
No.
correct? Correct.
no, actually, this is my item. One of the things that I've noticed, and we probably need to change the wording of this, and Lou, you'll have to tell us. When we discussed this, my intention were that all public meetings of the city of Floresville, be it in 4A, 4B, planning and zoning, or the city council, all begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. Do we need to change or repost this because of that?
Let me suggest this, why don't you pass it as it is, I intend to get you a formal directive, and we'll bring the directive back to include the other names that you just mentioned. But for today, we can have the council meeting as you stated in the item on the agenda, and as we go to the workshop, we'll be bringing several items back, so we're bringing it back with the others mentioned by name. And it will be, number-wise, this will be council directive.
The other thing, Lou, this is to begin each council meeting. That's why I was asking about the prayer. We always start with a prayer.
This doesn't propose that, you can certainly do that, this just strictly says we're going to do these two items for sure.
Okay, thank you. So,
Supervision will be at the beginning.
No, I was waiting for the rest of the discussion, if there was any.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion?
Then I make the motion to adopt Council Directive Number 3, mandating that all city council meetings begin with the United States Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance.
Second.
All in favor?
Amendment before we bring it to you. And based on your agenda.
I think, no, actually, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to just do a point of order. According to the city charter, after the motion's made, before the vote can be taken, we have to call for citizens' input.
Any citizens input? Yes.
Would you mind clarifying your verbiage right now, number 3? What did you mean by that in your, Mr. Miller, in your motion?
As Council Directive Number 3, Mr. Rosenberg informed us that that would be the sequence number. This will be the third city council bill. Is that correct?
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I would like to say something. When I came to the first city council meeting, the first thing I noticed was there was no Pledge of Allegiance. And that is terrible. And thank you so much for rectifying that. Thank you.
Mayor, please move on first.
Do I understand that we will have the prayer first and then the Pledge of Allegiance at all, the rest of the meetings? Because God comes before anything. So the prayer and then the Pledge of Allegiance that will be there. Correct. Thank you.
And we need to, include that in the motion.
Not today, if I may, let's take it what we have.
All right, thank you, Lydia.
The motion's there, you can call for the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion carries.
Okay, now going on to item 1E, consideration and action to adopt a council directive mandating that a citizens' comment period be implemented for every city council meeting and establishing procedures for conducting such comment period.
Again, Madam Mayor, this is my agenda item. Although the city charter allows for citizens' input before a vote, and the city charter limits that citizens' input to 1 minute, I believe that we are representatives of our community and need to expand upon that privilege and add to all public meetings the ability for our citizens to be able to make input on agenda items or non-agenda items. In concern for time constraints in a meeting, I believe that we should limit an individual citizen to a maximum of 5 minutes and allow that citizen's input period to go for a period of 15 minutes unless amended by the presiding board. I think this is also one of those things, Lou, that we're going to have to amend later, but would like to go ahead and adopt that council directive number 4 this morning. Okay, the citizens' input should be at the front end of every meeting. It should allow citizens to speak on agenda items or non-agenda items. And then as you described in agenda item 2, each citizen who desires to speak shall be allotted a maximum of 5 minutes individually with a total time of citizens' input not to exceed 15 minutes.
Yes, any council leader?
I don't disagree with this, but I think that we need more time to address particularly the timing of it, the particulars and the procedures. And this is an item that we would have a chance to discuss in a workshop at another time, because we've not done any research on this. And so my recommendation is that we table it and bring it back.
Mr. Rosenberg, according to the charter, it states 1 minute, right? Okay, so if we allow more, it's not like we would have to take it back to the voter if it was less. But if it's more, can we do it?
Charter's a minimum. The way I read it.
It's 1 minute.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And we're setting a time limit for 15 minutes.
15 minutes may be an issue if somebody is cut off at 1 minute, that's 40 other people are supposed to. Right, but I think I understand the spirit of the thing. It may be useful, in order to take this up to the workshop. But if I understand your motion for today, is to have public comment on any agenda item at the beginning of the session, A. It can be a non-agenda item, B. Number 3,
get citizen input on this one to see what they feel about it before we make a motion?
Let's get the motion on the table
Okay.
first, and then
Okay, I'll make the motion to adopt a council directive, in this case it'd be council directive number 4, mandating that a citizen's comment period be implemented for every city council meeting and establishing procedures for conducting such comment period as previously stated.
I second.
Can we have comments on that now?
Yes, if you'll have some citizens comments, please.
I just want to understand what the 15 minutes limits. In other words, you say 5 minutes or up to 5 minutes per speaker. And a total of 15 minutes. Are you saying that if we had 3 speakers here that had 15 minutes each, then nobody else can speak?
Potentially, yes. I believe the 15-minute cap, as I described it, was to allow for citizens' input, but that the board, be it the FEDC or the council, could extend that time, but so that there's a time block that wouldn't allow for, 40 people to filibuster for 5 minutes is essentially what the intention was on that.
But it seems to me, Jim, that what we're saying, if people get up here, and use 5 minutes each, then the first 3 speakers get to speak and nobody else gets to speak. I don't think that's right.
And that's why I think we need to discuss it further in a separate meeting.
Right, I think so. That would be my suggestion. Thank you.
As it's stated right now, it would be unfair to the public.
If I may share, the 1 minute is not enough time, perhaps 5 minutes is too much time. And there were often times where I or others were interrupted in the middle of our sentence, in the middle of our thought, couldn't complete it. There were times when we tried to give what we were trying to say to another person. Sometimes the mayor allowed it, sometimes he didn't. So there was never a completion of what we really wanted to say. So maybe 5 minutes is too much, but 1 minute is definitely not enough.
And I agree with that because, some people would, if the mayor supported them talk, and if he wanted you to talk, he let you talk for 5 minutes, but if he didn't want you to speak, it was 1 minute. So, and I don't think that we're gonna go with 40 people speaking. It's just that we wanna give, I don't know what Jen's trying to do, is give the opportunity to the people, to the citizens, to speak up their mind and their piece. And we have to start somewhere.
Would it be appropriate, Lou, to amend the motion to not have the cap? And then we would allow, make the motion to amend my previous motion to delete the 15-minute cap.
I'm sure your intentions are good, but I would recommend for you all to hash it out in a workshop, make sure you all agree. Because you're dropping the ball on that, everybody.
Exactly. If we drop the 15-minute cap, then we have no limit at all.
We have a minute in 5 minutes.
5 minutes,
5 minutes.
5 minutes, then we could go on forever. So I think we need to discuss it.
Ain't nobody gonna go on forever.
Well, and I'm comfortable without a limit. I believe that we are representatives of the citizens, and if the citizens want to do 2 hours worth of public comment, we need to be able to sit here for them and listen to them. If they do 15 minutes, great. I'm content with the motion as is, or as amended.
So how's the amendment, the last word?
Not a cap.
I mean, no cap?
No cap. Mr. Guerrero, second. The amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose.
That was the motion. Okay, so now we've got to come back to the original motion.
On the original motion, no cap.
Just call for the vote on the original motion as amended.
Without a cap.
beyond the charter, it's more than the charter warrants as a minimum. And so to add to it, you're giving a greater benefit, you don't have to go in the charter to do it.
And it's actually two different pieces. The city charter requires citizens' input before a vote on an agenda item. What we've done here in this is added citizens' input at the very beginning of the meeting for agenda or non-agenda items. That continued citizens' input before a vote is taken will continue in accordance with the city charter. We actually haven't even addressed that piece of the charter. We've just added more citizens' input to public meetings.
And the only reason I'm for it is so that people can speak more than 1 minute. That is it, you know, bottom line. Yeah, we can come back, we can have but right now, we need to allow these citizens that, they've been telling them to stay quiet for that 1 minute. I mean, 5 minutes, 1 minute is fine for a citizen.
Councilman Malone, what we're doing now is we voted on one without a limitation. That's the motion on the floor, and it's been seconded.
Without the 15-minute cap.
Without the 15-minute cap, that's why we're saying it could go on for 2 hours, or 3, or whatever. So
I don't think a citizen will speak 2 hours. I mean, let's get more comments from the people. What are their advice? Still a motion? We're gonna make another motion.
Well, the other thing I would like for us to discuss is that we should not allow folks who signed up to vote to give their time to someone else.
The motion doesn't provide that.
No, but that should come at a later time.
They do that in San Antonio every city.
Question on the motion. Mr. Miller has called the question on the matter. That's the procedural correct item, so it's time to vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Are we close? Back on 3 to 1.
Motion carries. The last item on our agenda for today is citizen comments. And it has here, the city council will hear citizens' comments at this time, but pursuant to the Texas Opens Meetings Act will not be allowed to deliberate or take any action on issues discussed. Each citizen who desires to speak shall be allotted a maximum of 5 minutes individually. And I'm believing that the last part should be deleted then, right? Yes. Because we took off the cap.
Can I comment just before you start? Regarding citizens input, we had a meeting last week with Mr. Rosenberg, and one of the questions that came up was, can council members address questions from citizens during citizens input? This clearly states that the council cannot take any action or deliberate on any item that is not on the agenda. But you can ask a question of fact. And if it is fact, if it is current policy of the city, the council or board can in fact respond, or management can respond.
But you can't go beyond that. That's the Attorney General's line of defense.
Is there any discussion?
Citizens input here?
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to, I would like to go ahead in honor of this historic event, Diana Garza being our first woman mayor. And I took it upon myself, and I hope you all don't mind, but I thought it would be befitting if Floresville gave her a massage. Is that okay with everybody? I got it red, white, blue, so I hope everybody likes our colors that we picked. Ma'am, you are? It's not.
for all these who don't know who she is.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
The florist already told me how to do this. I have to hold myself first. I just would like to say that I'm so proud of Diana. I have known her for a very long time, and I would like to tell you that she has a very good heart, and also she has a very godly spirit. And I think that she will run our city fairly and with love, and not only that, she is a helper. So if any of you need help, she might not like you too much if you need too much help, but she will be there for you. And here's your pen.
Madam Chair, I think it is probably a minute of reflection to get the position today for ladies and presiding.
And Councilman Guerrero thought he was losing business. Thought he said a massage.
Is there any other citizens? Mr. Weidman.
On behalf of the Floresville Chamber of Commerce, I obviously want to congratulate Amina and the Garden, new councilman, Miller, and the elected Irish. I'm sure you're going to do a fantastic job. This is a bittersweet day for me because you're got a good mayor. I lost a very good board member. And I want to thank you for all the service you've done for the chamber. I'm looking very forward very much to working with you.
Thank you.
I would love to request in the future, and I know things are a little bit trying to get used to, but everybody comes to really hear comments and your business. So I would love for one of the priorities to be that we hear everybody, not just the council, but people from the public. I have a pretty loud voice, so probably, I don't need a microphone, but many people are pretty soft-spoken, and we really are all trying to hear what's going on, and I just hate missing good business. So if you can do anything to help
That
that
is
along,
on the
it's much
list.
appreciated.
And I think everybody will agree to you.
Thank you.
Are we going to hold a special election for the empty council seat? We do need good council members up there.
But that seat is not empty at this time, and it will be addressed at that time.
Thank you.
Okay, we no further business? I'm sorry. Yes, this is Garnwell.
I'm not from here, I'm from San Antonio, some of you know me, some of you don't. Garnwell Guevara, I was my name is Garza, Casimiro Garza, and Josephine Garza, my parents. My brother is Casimiro, and I have other sisters, but Diana is my sister-in-law. And we are so proud of her. Believe me, you're getting a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful trust person. She's very trustworthy. She's very kind. Yes, she is, like the lady before me said. She respects everyone. She will help you. She will go out of her way to help you. She's a great Christian, and I know that you're getting a great person as your mayor. She's going to make a wonderful, wonderful, strong-hearted mayor. So thank you so much for being supportive. Thank you for supporting her now. And we love her in our family. We're very, very proud of her. Thank you so much.
I would just like to say it's wonderful to see a woman sitting at the head of the council of Floresville. And I would like to say that it's about time. And women are multitaskers and they get a lot done and not to take anything from the rest of the council, no matter your gender. But I'm very happy to see that we have some leadership in the city and we can move forward and work together as a community. Because that's what we need more than anything else. Thank you, Diane.
original mayor, and President Obama made it in for 4 more years. And the sun's gonna come up tomorrow, so. And I think I'm on the agenda for Monday night, asking for money for the cemetery, so y'all get ready.
12-year resident of Floresville, even though I'm an outsider. Somebody who has sat in this audience many, many times, frustrated beyond belief. I want to thank all of you for the most open, relaxed, honest meeting that I've ever seen.
Amen.
Yes, Mayor, my name is Tomas Robles, and even though we ran against each other, you're my favorite. My question to you, are we gonna let Ms. Murphy back in, or what's gonna happen with her?
That's not on the agenda, so it can't be discussed at this time. I'm sorry. It's a legal.
Okay.
Anyone else? Or I use my Virginia.
Not a Floresville resident, but when you are finished in Floresville, Laredo would love to have you.
As a member of the press, I don't have an opinion, but I just want to say that there's a lot of healing to do in Florida.
Yes.
So be good today, because we'll be watching.
Okay, now, I gotta adjourn this meeting.
Harder, we get you harder.
Time is 11:20. We will be having a small reception here in the conference room that all of y'all are welcome to. So please join us.
They told me 10:30. He wasn't supposed to have Commissioner. How you doing, sir? All right, and you? How y'all doing? All right?